video. Car video, everyone. Boy, I'll tell you, that sunshine is something else. Good morning. I just woke up. I woke up like maybe half an hour ago, 30 minutes ago. I jumped in the shower. I got myself together, and I'm off to go sign some comics. I stayed up last night drawing, and it was interesting. I turned my camera off on YouTube and then just participated in, I think, a Cecil stream. Jack, Cecil, Mike, not Cecil, John Malin, and Anna. That was fun. Woke up. I didn't wake up. I'm still not. I'm like wobbly right now. I'm very tired, but I've got to run over to get some books signed today. After I was done with Cecil, I got on and did my own video, which was a reaction video. I swear to God, get in the car and there's like this much gas left, and I'm the only one who fills the tank. But anyway, I collapsed in bed. I drew all night long. It was very, very good. I mean, me drawing last night just felt great. I'm enthused and excited about doing some art. Can't let my YouTube slip. I just talked to your boy Zach. He's like, you really need to get back to doing Star Wars content because, first of all, you making videos, I think implicit in what Zach was saying is you making videos, about Comicsgate and the people who are leaving Comicsgate or fighting with you within Comicsgate. I think it's taking a toll on you. And also, now is a great time to talk Star Wars. And it's like, oh, man, I would love to get back to Star Wars. The Star Wars community as SJW as it's become, the fandom menace is so much healthier than the comic book industry. I mean, it's just they're so happy. They have very few cares, it's like being called toxic because you're mad about Star Wars is I don't know. It's more wholesome. The Star Wars community is definitely more wholesome than the SJW converged comic book industry. And at this point, even some of the stuff that goes on within Comicsgate, it's just it's heavy. I mean, it's just really, really heavy. So on top of that is this thing where Zach is really coming down in his videos. And I mean, I want you to understand something. Zach's my friend on a personal level, but also I respect Zach's ideas. I respect the stuff that he says. We disagree all the time. I mean, I'll sit there and go, no, you're not right about that. I disagree about that. But for the most part, I have tremendous respect for what he says and his beliefs and attitudes about things. I think he's usually onto something. Now, Zach has been saying and being very kind of forceful about this in his recent videos. Everybody get off Twitter, and I'm included in that. Everybody, Zach got off of Twitter a while ago because Zach saw Twitter as the source of endless conflict that was just unnecessary for him. Being on Twitter for Zach, I think, painted a target on him. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't. It's not difficult. In fact, it's rather easy to use Twitter to bother people. It's like Zach would find himself just like, hey, well, these same melt brains are on Twitter every single day, and they might as well pick a target, and they pick Zach, et cetera, et cetera. But beyond that, being on Twitter and just this kind of mindless culture of hey, I need to say something pithy and cruel that's going to get some retweets without any thought. There's no real interaction, or anything that you write, and tweet out there is going to be endlessly dissected and misinterpreted until the end of time. Zach has said that Twitter, people aren't meant for Twitter. Human beings aren't meant for interaction on a global scale like that, which is an interesting concept. Also, people should be allowed to say something and it evaporate into the ether. I mean, we've all said dumb things. We've all kind of said things that we regret. But the good thing about it is that it's not set in stone somewhere. There isn't a cadre of malicious weirdos who are waiting for you to or waiting for you to say something like that so they can hang on to it, or to scour backwards until the year 2005, or whenever Twitter was invented and people started using it for fun purposes. To find something that you might have said in jest, or um, just flippantly, that they can use against you now, and it's become a powerful thing that can actually destroy lives and jobs, careers. People use it for that purpose, just for fun. So Zach has been saying for a long time, get off of Twitter, and he said mostly, I think his selling point about it, and that is that, well, you'll be much more productive if you do. Zach says, look at me, I'm productive, and I'm not on Twitter. I mean, that's one of the things. Point of fact, though, Zach, you are on Twitter. You have an alt, and you are on Twitter. You're reading everything that happens on Twitter. You're just not interacting, and people don't know it's you. But you are on Twitter. Now, I'm thinking about this because it's heavy. I mean, Twitter is just it's a battleground right now, and it's so easy for people to I don't know. I think it becomes a battle of people saying the short, brief things to each other that it invites spur of the moment, kind of unloading of whatever bad feelings you have, and then those are kind of imprinted for permanence. It's yeah, I guess I don't know. And the other thing is, of course, yeah, it does make you a target, and these people do want to gang up. These SJWs and others, do want to just kind of gang up on you and destroy your life. It is, it's something to consider. I use Twitter. I mean, look, Twitter to me, it's important to keep it. It's important not to misuse it, and I can't help but often misuse it, and that's the problem. Twitter, last year my attitude was, I'm going to treat Twitter like Donald Trump tweets it. I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to walk away, and I'm not going to get into fights about it. This is discipline. I'm not going to read people's responses. I use Twitter to put out, my message, my messaging, and then just people can react however they want, and I'm just going to ignore it. And I did that successfully for a long time, but then I started to care what people thought, and I don't know when that switch flipped for me. I don't really know, but I started to care and listen and be concerned with what people were saying, and that's the that's the problem. And then Twitter itself just becomes from the racist Brer Rabbit story. Twitter becomes that tar baby. And a tar baby, I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't know if you saw this. This is now, Disney has buried this, and they consider it a source of shame. They consider it to be racist. But when I was a kid, I had the storybook for this little Brer Rabbit, Brer Bear, Brer Fox. These characters were, just as important to me as Mickey Mouse, because it was the 1970s. But there's this great story where Brer Rabbit, walks by, and I don't remember all of the details about this. Like, I don't remember all the details because this story is now considered great gone. But I remember there was a little baby made of tar. So somebody made like I guess it was hot tar, and they shaped it like a little kid, and they dressed it in a coat and a hat, and sat it on a bench, and Brer Rabbit walked by, and I guess he said, "How do you do?" And of course, this lump of tar didn't answer him. And Brer Rabbit took offense to it somehow and decided to punch the tar baby in the face. And because he punched the tar baby in the face, it's like his hand got stuck. So he's trying to get his hand out, and he uses his other hand to free that hand. And before you know it, of course, he's got both of his feet, his legs, stuck in the tar baby. and he's covered in tar. You know, so that to me is a good you know analogy, metaphor. Let me think about that. For why you shouldn't get into these fights, these tit for tat fights with people. You do end up just sticky, covered in tar, trapped, and miserable. And I don't want to be in fights with people. That's the last thing that I want to do. I have a very singular direction, you know, in my life. And, you know, I think I do have feelings that are a little bit more close to the surface than I want to admit. I like to think of myself as thick-skinned, but at the same time, I do have, I do kind of put faith in people and trust people. I do bring people close, and maybe people I shouldn't. And, you know, that's, when I feel like I'm betrayed, I've been betrayed, I get upset, you know. I mean, I don't cry and go boo-hoo, but I go, you know, what the hell? So I don't know. I think that I need to sort of step back from all of this, and maybe leaving Twitter is a good idea. So I'm thinking about this morning for the first time seriously. When Zach would say leave Twitter, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to leave Twitter because I don't want to retreat from what I consider to be a battleground. But one thing that Edwin said in his video that I rebutted this morning was true. We are winning. He's like, why don't you realize you've won? Well, we haven't won. I mean, look, you know, we're at the beginning of the collapse. The war has really just begun. It's going to get weirder from here. It's going to get a lot weirder as more comic book stores close down, as more comic book companies close down. You know, people are going to become more and more hostile. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like out there. But we have not won. We are merely winning. Cyberfrog being published was a real shot across the bow for a lot of people, a surprising number of people, and like a surprising contingent of people. Some people who should be happy that Cyberfrog saw print are not happy. It's clear. It's clear they're not happy about it, and it's weird. But I think it was easy to keep me in check as long as you could say your book's not out. Where's your book, Ethan? Where's your book? Well, Ethan's book is late. Well, you know, that's an easy way to sort of marginalize me and my message. And you know, look, the book is still late, but it's out, and it's getting rave reviews, and I think people are seeing, holy shit. You know, look, you know, these Comicscape books can actually be, you know, a force. Yeah, you've got me, you've got Zach, you've got John Malin, you've got Starblades coming out by Kyle Ritter. These books are actually better than Marvel Comics, and in a lot of cases, DC Comics, Image books. We stand shoulder to shoulder with them. And I mean, to the point where, you know, SJWs have been reduced to just attacking the paper stock of Cyberfrog Blood Honey. They were saying that it was going to suck. They were saying this book was going to be terrible. And they have nothing to say about the book. They're just like, well, the print stock, the paper could have been, you know. No, it couldn't have, you idiots. It couldn't have been any better. This is the stock that we had to use to get the chromium to stick. It's unfortunate. We learn a lesson and do fewer pages next time. That's the toss-up. That's the price we pay. But you know, this is the thing. Like, yeah, we are primed. We are poised to fight this battle, and we are poised to witness, you know, the collapse of something that, you know, people have taken for granted for decades. It fell into the hands of stewards who didn't care about it, who misused it, you know, who did what they wanted to do with it instead of what was best for it. The comic book industry, I mean, and now it's in real trouble. Now it's you know, it's breathing its last, and the hysteria that you will hear from you know, the people on the Titanic towards the people who got into the lifeboat, who decided the party was over and you know, fled. That hysteria is going to get worse. So the question is, do I need to be on Twitter to meet this fight? Am I somebody who needs to be there for this? Am I someone who needs to be there, you know, for squabbling that takes place within the lifeboats themselves? Is that something that I need to do? And part of me says yes. Part of me says, yeah, you need to be there. You need to keep fighting, and you're the like I'm going to be one of the ones who gets beat up and bloodied the most. But I don't know. I don't know. The other part of me says, just do your Star Wars videos, do your Cyberfrog videos, do Rainbow the Brute. Talk about comics. Get away from Twitter. People will probably find your videos without Twitter, and that's a concern. It's like, will people know what I'm up to, et cetera, without Twitter? I think so. Do I need Twitter? I have 37,700 Twitter followers. That's a pretty big megaphone to just throw into the icy cold sea. It's not like a Twitter hobbyist who's just got a few dozen followers and therefore doesn't really need it. I mean, I have a substantial audience there. Is it the same audience that I speak to on YouTube? Am I being redundant, or are these more people? Well, these are questions, and people, people. IDZ says this is an emotional decision. You're a man. No, yeah. I guess, yeah. These are decisions based on emotions. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't feel like it. I'm listening to Zach, who's been pounding this into my head for like a year. So I'm just considering it. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to do it today, and I don't think I'm going to do it tomorrow. I don't think I'm leaving Twitter anytime soon. But I'm definitely thinking about it. It's like Zach is often right. Zach is often correct. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments to this video. I mean, Twitter. People obviously feel like Twitter is poison. Twitter is bad for people. Yeah, it can be. Definitely can be. Realigning my purpose for what I want to use social media for, rather than arguing and squabbling with people, would be a good thing. I'd rather do that. I don't want to fight. I'm just surprised. I really don't want to. I want people to do well, and I want allies, and I want people on my side. I want people to actually succeed in doing what they're doing, and I want to be proud of them. How can Twitter better assist me in that goal? I don't know. We're getting to the part of town where I'm gonna check out, I'm sure. I'll keep going though. When I do check out, when the Wi-Fi goes, I think we're back for a second. At a stoplight. Yeah, I told you, we're right in this part of town. This little area of like Mount Laurel, Medford here. This is where this is where the internet goes out. All right, so I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna sign as many of these books as I can sign. I got to get back to work. I do 1,000 in a